I think it is a great thing when we see people taking their own time, expending their own resources to come together to speak out. That's what our democracy is all about. And frankly, the result of a lot of the policies that are being pursued here in Washington have given birth to a lot of what's going on in the country today. People coming together, standing for what they believe in, and insisting that Washington reflect the same. Listen, I think the president had come to the Congress last week to address a joint session, imploring Congress to set aside partisan bickering, to try and begin to work together, focus on things that we can agree upon. So I think that stunt that was pulled by the majority in the House was nothing but a political stunt. I am glad it's behind us. Joe Wilson is an honorable man. He had apologized to the president. He had apologized on national TV. He had said he did not think the actions that he took were appropriate and said as much, said he wouldn't do it again. And I think we just move on from here. I'm having a lot of trouble understanding where the speaker's coming from on that. I think there is a disconnect as far as what she sees and what most Americans see on any number of policy issues. America should be about engaging in public debate. There's going to be discourse when we're talking about making policy in this country, but we are a country that has a government derived from the power of the people. We should be encouraging people to come together in civil debate, which is what I have seen throughout the country over the last several months. Well, obviously, the announcement of the Baucus bill did not do, I think, what the president had hoped it would do to turn the tables. The American people are clearly against what this White House and Democrat majorities are trying to do in Congress, and where we ought to be going is really in the direction of listening to the people. We ought to be, number one, guaranteeing the people that this government won't be taking their decision-making from them and their doctors. Number two, we ought to be guaranteeing the American people that the government won't be in a position to deny care to anyone based on age, gender, or any other basis. And thirdly, we ought to be guaranteeing to the people that we're not going to break the bank by passing some bill that we can't afford that doesn't work. But there are plenty of areas we can work together on. There really are. We ought to be focusing on pre-existing conditions. We ought to be focusing on the area of portability, so if you lose your job, you don't necessarily lose your health care. And we ought to, and I think could, come together on the issue of medical liability reform. These are the kinds of things that we could do if the administration would push the reset button and scrap the bill that they've got.